Hey guys, welcome back to Bibliophile Reads. I'm Courtney and you're joining me for another weekly reading vlog. It is Monday. It is around 7 p.m. I actually did not work today. I took off Thursday, Friday, and Monday, partly because the kids were on spring break last week and so I wanted to spend some time with them. Even though I work from home, if you do work from home, it's still like a full-time job, so you can't just be off and on. And then my husband's birthday was yesterday, so we just kind of wanted to have the extra day today, so glad that I did that. And my goal was to get a few books knocked out this weekend, which I did, so I want to go ahead and tell you about them. Let's start with Friday. Was it Friday or Saturday? Let me think. Oh, it had to be Saturday. Or was it Friday? I don't remember. Anyway, I got my Book of the Month Club book, and the first book that I got, I immediately knew when I got it I was going to jump into it, and that was Happily Never After by Lynn Painter. I kind of ranted about this in my last vlog. If you didn't check that out, go do that. Book of the Month Club often has early releases of books. This book actually comes out tomorrow, but I've already gotten it and read it, so I really loved it. So I ended up giving this 5 stars. I love Lynn Painter's writing. I remember reading Better Than the Movies and The Upside of Falling, and I liked The Upside of Falling better, although they're the same general premise. And I really didn't like Better Than the Movies. I wasn't sure about Lynn Painter as an author, but now as time has gone by, I've read so many of her books. I really like her writing. So this book is such a cute concept. I've never read a book with this concept, and if you've been watching, or at least last week I mentioned it a ton, I'm just trying to add some variety to my reading because I often read romances and I'm just kind of over it because the plots tend to be very similar. And so in this book, we meet Sophie. We're at her wedding and they're about to say their I do's, and somebody stands up and objects, and we cut to her sort of celebrating with her friends. The person who objects' name is Max, and his job or his side gig is to go to weddings and be the objector. And he does that for people who want to get out of the wedding. Now, in Sophie's case, her guy was cheating on her and had hard evidence, but you're already at the wedding, families are involved, money's been handed over, and so it gets sticky to want to cancel. So he did that for her. And they start kind of hanging out. I forgot why they started hanging out, but they do start hanging out, and start having a friendship. And Sophie works at a law firm. No, she works in HR, and the guy that she was going to marry works at the same company. And so she's trying to get a promotion, but everybody knows that she doesn't like him. And obviously being in HR, she has to like everybody, or at least fake it. And so her boss is basically like, look, I can't promote you because we know you hate Stuart, your ex. And so she sort of starts pretending like she's dating Max, so that it looks like she's moved on with her life. And Max invites her to a wedding to be the objectress because, what was the reason? Something happens. Anyway, they start kind of going as a tag team to these weddings and being the objector, which gets Sophie back into life because after her broken up wedding, she's kind of just not been living life to the fullest. And it gets Max sort of hanging out with her. Lots of fun characters in this book. Obviously, it's a romance, so we know they end up together. Max he's like a mid-grumpy. He's not fully grumpy, but he's a little grumpy. But he played that part well. Good book boyfriend. And like I said, 5 stars because I finished it in a day. And so really liked it. So highly recommend this book. Glad to have it on my shelf. So good. The only problem I had with this book was that I ended up having a book hangover. So my goal was to read 2 or 3 books this weekend and get it done. I only read 2, and one is Babysitter's Club book, which is kind of short. But after reading Happily Never After, I tried to go to The Wishing Game, which is another book I got from my big package from Book of the Month Club. That video will come out on Thursday of this week, so you'll already see it before this comes out. And I couldn't catch what was going on. Nothing wrong with the book or the writing. I liked the premise of the story. I just was in a book hangover, so I couldn't comprehend it. So I'm going to come back to that. And then I tried a couple other things on my Kindle and it just wasn't working. So I ended up reading book 34, Babysitters Club. As you guys know, I'm rereading the whole series from the beginning. And this is Marianne and Too Many Boys. I ended up giving this like 3 stars. That's the lowest I'll give it. But I really did not care for this book. In my opinion, it was just like a repeat of Stacy, Boy Crazy Stacy, when they go to Sea City and they're babysitting the Pike kids and the guys are there. And they're basically kind of picking up where they were last summer. They go back to the same house. It's Marianne and Stacy. Stacy's kind of into the guy that she met last year and going on dates with him. So her and Marianne kind of get into it like they did the year before over guys because Stacy is obsessed. And then the other guy that liked Marianne before they left, Alex, I want to say, comes back around. They're kind of talking, but she feels guilty because she already has Logan, and I guess he has a girlfriend. Anyway, I didn't like it, and I don't care for the Pike kids. And comment down below if you're the same, because they are some of the most annoying kids. Like, you popped out 8 of these kids. That's bananas. Like, no, I don't. Is it 8, 7, however many? It's too many Pike kids. I wouldn't be the one to babysit. Like, after Sea City the first time, I would have been like, no, I'm okay. I don't need the money. I don't need to go to Sea City. I don't need the money. I don't need to be around the kids. I'm good. So those are the 2 books that I finished this past weekend. So as I'm jumping in, I was going to read The Villa. So last night, I was kind of laying in bed. Obviously, it's dark, so I picked up the Kindle. And I was reading The Villa by Rachel Hawkins. But, like, I'm so confused because maybe I need to read the synopsis again. I bought this a long time ago when it was, like, on a sale or special. And I can't remember, like, is it, like, a literary fiction? Is it a scary book? I don't remember, but like it's basically this girl and her friend have been friends, sort of like enemies, not enemies, just like they always compete with each other for a while, and they decided to go to Italy to write because they're both writers. But like it's not hitting for me, so I stopped. And then I just was picking up Smells Like Teen Spirit. This is book 4 in this series, and this is always just a quick fun read, so I figured I would start the week off strong with this and kind of wait to see what I get into. I probably will read Ill-Fated Fortune after this one, as you start wrapping up March. I think it's already middle of March, so that's crazy. But that is the plan. So that's everything I did this weekend and my plan for Monday as Monday wraps up. So I'll be reading some more of that tonight. I'll be back tomorrow with more updates. Bye guys. Hey guys, happy Tuesday. Hopping on to give you an update on my reading. Okay, today was the first day back from taking a few days off. I do not regret taking days off. I think everybody should take their days off, and like, you're saving your PTO for what? Just use it. But I had a ton of work to do today. I was like nonstop. Luckily, I really enjoy what I do, so it was what it was, but it was busy from the moment I jumped on. I even checked my email last night because I knew I was going to have a ton. And so I'm glad I did that though, because I was able to like figure out the day for today. Anyway, so busy today. But when I got done with work, I picked up Smells Like Teen Spirit and I finished this. I'll be honest, I kind of skimmed the last part of it. I ended up giving this book a 3-star. If you're going to pick up this series, the second book is, was it the second? Yoga Pant Nation is the best. The first book I didn't read. Second book was okay. Yoga Pant Nation was really entertaining, and this one was just okay. So the thing about this one is that it's just too much more of the same. And I get, like, there's a formula, you don't break it, but it was just too much. So in this one, we're about 2 years out from the last book. So now her youngest son, who was in 5th grade in Yoga Pant Nation, is now in 7th grade, and he's on the wrestling team. It was sort of like her entry into the time with parents. She has a nemesis who's on a rival team. That mom is nuts, but Jin just continues to go through life's ups and downs. She's still teaching the spin class. One of her spin class people passed away suddenly. He was pretty young, and that kind of shook her up a bit. So she decided she was going to focus on getting to know her writers that come regularly, which kind of backfires on her. Her daughters start a business together selling natural foods at their studios, and they kind of clash. I guess what was triggering to me is a couple things. One, the daughters are so mean to her, and I don't know, like, I know it's sarcastic and all that, but she has 2 adult children who just say they're not nice. Just plain and simple. They're just not nice. And she never just like checks them on it and like reels them in. It's just kind of like she lets it happen. For instance, the sisters are having this business together. One complains that the other one's not helping. And this is the one that has the daughter, Viv's. And so Viv's has her mom pick up her daughter one day, and she's been dating a guy, but she comes back to pick up her daughter, and she's dressed not in work clothes. And the mom asks her, like, where were you? And she's like, I was at work. And she's like, well, okay, what's the real reason I needed to go pick up your daughter today? And she never answers her. Like, that's crazy to me, because I picked up your daughter. So those types of things. And then the mom in this book, so in the last book, the mom and the dad, Jen's parents, were getting older. The dad is still suffering with some early signs of dementia. And the mom is just like gallivanting around. She met some guy at the nursing home that they're going to be at in the last book, and keeps pawning the dad off on Jen, and Jen has 0 boundaries. Like, those types of things are kind of irritating to me to read, which is why it's got 3 stars. I think if I had started with this, I would have rated it lower, but because I know the caliber of what the series is, like, I gave it a 3. So happy to be done with that series. Glad I picked it up. I think it's definitely a great book and nod to parenthood and moms especially, but I just had my fill of it, and so done with that. So I'm going to return that to the library tomorrow. I know I have a couple books on hold. I know I have Queen of Nothing that's ready for pickup tomorrow, so I'll try to pick that up. I'm currently trying to find a book on my Kindle. I'm using my Kindle Oasis right now. And so I've been kind of browsing, like, what do I have on my Kindle and what is out that I want to read. I wish they had a section that was just like new, like right on my homepage. But so I'm kind of like playing around with a couple options, like books that I could read right now. I recently got Caraval by Stephanie Garber. That's a new fantasy series. I decided to DNF The Villa because it just wasn't good to me. I again downloaded The Right Move by Liz Tom Ford because everybody still says that's so good. It's like a sports romance. What else? I have a romance named What Is Love. I have Binding 13. So it's just like a lot that I could kind of get into, but I haven't picked yet, so I'm just kind of scrolling up and down on the Kindle. And again, I like to have a book on my Kindle because I like to read it at night. I don't usually use my book light anymore, although I have one. I just read on my Kindle, so I try to find something. So I'll keep looking for that. But my physical book that I'm going to read, I'm finally going to get into Ill-Fated Fortune. I picked this up last week and was excited to get started, so I'm going to start that right now. And this is by Jennifer J. Chow. This is a new series from Jennifer J. Chow. I've read her other series. This is the first in the Magical Fortune Cookie novel series. So I am excited to get started on that. So I'm going to do that now, and then also kind of browse for a Kindle book that I can have just floating in the background. So that is the update for Tuesday. Hoping to get some reading done. And then I have the library tomorrow, so I have reading done for that, so I can have some more updates for y'all tomorrow. Side note, it was like 63 degrees today in Minnesota, and it was great. So I hope I think it's gonna be cloudy tomorrow, but still 63. So hopeful that it stays this weather. I don't mind this. I love winter. Not that anybody asked, but I love winter. And we didn't get a lot of winter this year. We got lots of warm temps, just a little bit of snow. But now that season's kind of over, I'm okay with spring. I also love springs. I love coming out of winter just before it gets too hot and humid. I love that. I dislike summer the most. So in case you ever have any trivia on me, I like winter. So yeah, that's it for today. I rambled for no reason. Okay, we'll see you tomorrow. Hey guys, happy Wednesday. I can't believe it's already Wednesday. Okay. I am hopping on to tell you all about the book things today. I am standing today because I think I told you guys my husband built me a standing desk last week or the week before last, but the kids were on spring break and I was off some days. So, sorry, it's just in camera. So I did not need to use it, but I love it. I really, really do. I actually got recommended the stand desk by my physical therapist, so I don't have any injuries, but I went to the physical therapist recommended by my doctor just to check out my exercise plan to make sure, like, are there any things I could be working on, and like what I'm doing good. I've never been to a physical therapist, but I really, really liked that, and I highly suggest it. They do exercises with you. They check your balance, your form on stuff, and I only needed 2 sessions because I'm solid, and so I didn't have like a whole lot to work on, just some balance things, which is really just core related. But anyway, that's a whole tangent. But so she had recommended a sit-stand desk because I work from home on my computer a lot, and so she's just like, it's not natural just to be sitting for so long. So finally got it. I actually got it from the TikTok shop, which if you're like me, you were probably skeptical about the TikTok shop, but it's pretty legit. I got it for like 80 bucks, I think plus shipping. I think in total it was like $86 or $87. That's tax, shipping, whatever. It took about a week to get here, and then you had to build it, but it is sturdy. It's not flimsy at all. It has like a motor in it, so great. If you want me to link it, comment. I feel like I'm rambling for no reason about it, but it's really good. Okay, so here is what's happening. Today I have read barely anything. I had such a busy day yesterday, and then in contrast, today work was just not as busy, but my head was still kind of spinning from yesterday, from being off for so many days, and then like coming back to a lot of work. And again, I don't regret taking time off. I think everybody should do it, but I had a lot to do yesterday, and I always tend to do this before I take time off. Like that week before, anybody that wants to meet, I'm like, let's meet next week. So I have nothing at the end before I take my time off, and then I come back to like a pile of work, and I probably should do better than that. But so I was so tired. So today, although there wasn't a lot to do, I was just like brain dead. I just couldn't function. So even at the end of my day, I came to Ill-Fated Fortune. I started this last night. I'm only on page 18. I read about 10 pages on my couch after work, and it's fine. It's too early to say one way or another. This font is terribly small, but it's fine. But it's not hitting the way I need it to hit. So I'm still reading it, but it's not hitting the way I wanted to hit. So then I picked up this book, Till There Was You. This is a new book. It's by Lindsay Hammerhoff. I don't know much about it, except it looks like there's culinary involved and some guy in a backward baseball hat. So it looks cute, fluffy. It's like 300 some pages, exactly what I need in my life. And what I did is I went to the library today. I'm going to show you what I had on hold. But what I noticed, I was going through my Libby to see like, what do I have on hold? What's coming up for me? Because I needed to find a book to read. And there's so many books that are so popular that end up being on hold for like months, and so I had to cancel some of my holds because some of the books that I had on hold I ended up already purchasing, whether they were on like a special deal or something, they end up getting purchased. So I cleared that out. Anyway, here's what I got from the library because I had a few things on hold, and I think this will be a good little stockpile. I did take back Murder in Mamone because I wasn't going to read it. I just knew it, so I didn't want to hold it up for anybody. All right, I picked up Queen of Nothing. This is the 3rd book in the Cruel Prince series. I am excited to read this because, it's short. It's only like 300 pages. I am excited to read this because I think this series is really good. It's YA, it goes quickly, and I'm looking forward to finishing a series. And then she has some other series that are extensions of this series, so I want to get to those. So that's great. And this one says, power is much easier to acquire than it is to hold on to. Jude learned this lesson when she released her control over the wicked king Cardan in exchange for immeasurable power. Now, as the exiled mortal queen of fairy, Jude is left reeling from Cardan's betrayal. She bides her time, determined to reclaim everything he took from her. Opportunity arrives in the form of her deceptive twin sister, Taryn, whose mortal life is in peril. Jude must risk venturing back into the treacherous fairy court and confront her lingering feelings for Cardan if she wishes to save her sister. But Elpham is not as she left it. War is brewing, As Jude slips deep within enemy lines, she becomes ensnared into the conflict's bloody politics. And when a terrible curse is unleashed, panic spreads throughout the land, forcing her to choose between her ambition and her humanity. So, if you've read the series, this makes sense. It's going to be good. So excited for that. Then I picked up The Partner Plot. This is by Christina Forrest. She wrote The Neighbor Favor, which I didn't love, just because I felt like it took a long time to get to like the meat of what was happening. But this book it just came out this month, really. So first I was surprised that my library had it, because I kind of live in a smallish town, and so they don't always have like the newest, but I was on the list, I got it. So this one says, to Violet Green, fashion is everything. As a successful celebrity stylist, she travels all over the world, living out her dreams. Professionally, she's thriving, but her personal life is in shambles. After surviving a very public breakup with her ex-fiancé 6 months ago, Violet is now determined to focus on her career. But life hands her something, or rather someone, that might derail everything. Xavier Wright did not expect to run into his high school girlfriend, Violet, the girl he once thought he'd marry, on a birthday trip to Vegas. As a high school teacher and basketball coach, he rarely leaves his New Jersey hometown, so what were the chances? But when the initial shock wears off, they decide to celebrate together. They feel young and reckless as they party the night away, and recklessly they clearly were when the following morning they wake up beside each other with rings on their fingers. Their impulsiveness might be a blessing in disguise, excuse me, though when they realize that both of their careers could benefit from the marriage, so they play the part of a blissfully wedded couple. Yet when their passion comes hurtling back, they realize their feelings are just as real as when they were teens. So that's cute. So fake dating, I like it. And then the last book I picked up is a book called We Are Not Like Them. And this is by Joe Piazza and Christine Pride. Now, I talk about this podcast all the time. I listen to the Stuck in Stony Brook podcast. It's a podcast with 3 friends who have been rereading the Babysitters Club series, and they debrief it in the best way. It's like a very cognitive way of debriefing a children's book or middle grade book, and I love it. But they recently had a guest on, Joe Piazza. She has a book coming out called The Sicilian Inheritance or something like that. And she was talking about this book that she wrote with her co-writer, her former editor, Christine Pride, who became a writer. And this book really intrigued me. This book is about 2 friends, one black friend, one white friend, and how they navigate after the murder of a black teenager, an unarmed black teenager. In this book, let me just read it. It's told from alternating perspectives. We Are Not Like Them is a riveting and compassionate novel about the lifelong bond between 2 women, one black and one white, whose friendship is indelibly altered by a tragic event. Jen and Riley have been best friends since kindergarten. As adults, they remain as close as sisters, though their lives have gone in different directions. Jen married young and after years of trying is finally pregnant. Riley pursued her childhood dream of being a television journalist and is poised to become one of the first black female anchors of the top news channel in their hometown of Philadelphia. But the deep connection they share is severely tested when Jen's husband, a police officer, is involved in the shooting of an unarmed black teenager. 6 months pregnant, Jen is in free fall as her future, her husband's freedom, and her friendship with Riley are thrown into uncertainty. Covering this career-making story, Riley wrestles with the implications of this tragic incident for her black community, her ambitions, and her relationship with her lifelong friend. Oh my gosh. When they talked about this, it sounded so good, and so I can't wait to dig into it. So this has the book, and there's a conversation, obviously. It's about 310 pages, so this might jump the line, and really I might put Ill-Fated Fortune to the side. This sounds so good. So that's kind of the books that I got today and a rough idea of what I want to read. I think this just moved up the line, and then keeping this on the Kindle is going to be a good look. And because I really want to get through these library books, because all of them are ones I want to read before they have to be renewed, and these are popular books, so I might not be able to get them back. So that is it for my Wednesday update. Also, I did get my video filmed and edited before tomorrow. It's Thursday's video, so that's so good. Happy to be on top of that. Anyway, that is it for today. I'll check back in tomorrow. Hey guys, happy Thursday. I'm hopping on quickly to tell you about what I'm reading, only because I can't stop reading it and I have to continue. So as I talked about, did I say this yesterday? I don't remember, but I know I talked about it on my daily reading shorts. I'm reading We Are Not Like Them by Christine Pride and Joe Piazza. I did mention that I had heard about Joe Piazza on the Stuck in Stony Brook podcast that I absolutely loved. I've talked about it a million times. And she talked about this book. She has a new book coming out, The Sicilian Inheritance, but she talked about this book and it was really intriguing. So again, we are following two lifelong friends, Jen, a white woman, and Riley, a black woman, and they are being challenged in the biggest way possible right now. Obviously, race has always been a factor in their friendship, although they've been able to navigate that and really kind of, in retrospect, as they're kind of going back and forth about their relationship, push a lot of things under the rug and maybe not be as authentic with each other. But all of that's come to a head now as Jen's police officer husband shot a unarmed black teenage male. This book, literally, it's so well written. It has just so much truth in the words from both sides, right? Of just the feeling of agony and fear of for Jen, who's the police officer's wife, and kind of figuring out like maybe who he is at his core and his family. And then you have Riley's side as she's coming to her own awakening about all that she has sort of abandoned in her efforts to become this amazing media personality, and how she's had to sometimes push away her authentic self, even changing her name, so that she could be accepted in some way. So this book is so good. I think that if you have just a knack or need to have some consciousness placed into your reading, I think this is an amazing book. I think that it's going to make you feel things on both sides. I think that the writers are phenomenal. I love the way it's written. And I just love the back and forth. So each chapter is written from that person's perspective. Riley is written by Christine Pride. She is a black editor and author. And then Joe Piazza writes Jen's sections, and she is white. And so I love that. I love the partnership collaboration, but also love that neither one wanted to write from the other's perspective, because in situations like this, it is everyone's own journey, story, and lived experience. So I just can't say enough good things about it. I want to finish it tonight. I'm on page 138, and there are 308 pages. And so I know I'm not going to finish it tonight, but I want to finish it soon because I just love it. But it's 311 pages, but because each page is just rich with context and agony and contemplation. I'm literally reading every single word, and sometimes reading it more than once just to make sure that I'm picking it all up. So this has been my main focus. I think I did start a little bit of my book Till There Was Us last night when I turned off the light. But just for a second, because then I actually busted out the book light to read this some more until I fell asleep. So that's kind of the update. Not a lot, because this is all I'm focused on, and I cannot wait to continue reading it and tell you guys where I'm at with it. Right now, it's a 5-star read for me. However, we'll see how it ends. I've also had books that were 5 stars and then they just fell off, so we'll see. But for right now, it's a 5-star, and I cannot wait to continue reading it. So that's what I'm going to go do right now. We'll check in tomorrow. Hey guys, happy Friday. Welcome to the last day of the work week and the last day of the vlog. Okay, just trying to situate that. I did have to go somewhere today, so I had to look Friday ready. But now I'm just home. But I want to tap into what my weekend plans are for reading, and this book right here. Oh my goodness. So I did end up finishing this book yesterday. I didn't think I was going to because I had a little over 100 pages, but I started really zooming through it towards the end. I gave this book 5 stars. I think you guys knew it was going to go that way, But honestly, the best part about this book is how real it was, and the social commentary in this book was so spot on that it was just so good. I think everybody should read this book, but like I said before, I love the point of views. I love that the our Black main character Riley is written by a Black author, and our white main character Jen is written by a white author. Obviously, they collaborated and brought up real issues. Like at one point, Riley's trying to have a conversation with Jen, and Jen is, I would say, like a down white girl, right? Where it's like she gets it, sort of, but this, and she feels like she gets it. She's been friends with Riley her whole life. Riley's grandma's like her grandma. She doesn't consider herself racist or having any bias or beliefs. But this situation for both of them brings out things that they didn't realize would happen. I think that's why it's like we are not like them. And one of the things Riley approaches Jen about throughout the story is just like the protests that will happen after the shooting and things like that. And Jen says, don't give me that which lives matter stuff. And it's words like that I think resonated with me, because these are like real conversations people are having. And even people that would consider themselves obviously not racist or have like great friendships with all kinds of people, consider themselves rather diverse and open-minded, when put in certain situations might react differently. And I think that's what this is. I did give this 5 stars because it was phenomenal. The only thing that I kind of didn't like at the end, and I don't want to spoil it, but it didn't end the way I wanted it to. I will say an insignificant part that sort of showed up was Riley used to date a white guy named Corey, and he came back around, and I guess she had dumped him sort of abruptly, and he came back around and was just like really loved the anchoring that she had been doing on this case and just whatever. Anyway, they got back together, and I really didn't think we needed that plot line. And I also think it was like a little bit of a juxtaposition to what Riley was finding out about herself. So Riley, I guess, had always been sort of described as like the Black girl trying to be white, or sometimes in Black communities, it might be a Black person called an Oreo, or a Black person who is well-spoken, which why wouldn't we be, is said to be acting like they're white, right? And so a lot of that was her upbringing. And through this trial and case, she was discovering all the instances in which she had been pegged as that Black person or the token Black person. And it just didn't fit. And although she had dated white guys in the past and her greatest love was Corey, a white male, it seems to not fit in the story. Not just because of the race part, but the self-discovery Riley was having. It didn't seem like she needed to end the story with a guy. Like that wasn't her journey. So that's the only criticism I have in this book. Well, there's one other, but if I say it's going to spoil, it's what happens with Jen and her husband, and I have a criticism on how that ended. But other than that, phenomenal book. So I highly, highly, highly recommend. I have a coworker that is also an avid reader, and so we always talk about books, and I have to immediately tell her about this one so she can read it. So then last night, I kind of had a book hangover in a bit, because I was like, what other book is going to be as good as this? Like, every other book is trivial right now. But I am still reading Till There Was You. I'm about 6% in. I really don't know what's happening, except our main character is at she's at culinary school, and she is like an older adult, not like older adult, but like late 20s, where all the other people are like 18, 19. And she goes to this local bar and is kind of making fun of the band that's about to go on, and starts talking to this guy, and surprised he's a member of the band, and they kind of go from there a little bit, but I'm just at that part. So 6% in there. So I want to read that this weekend. And then my physical book, I was wanting like a nice romantasy. I almost thought about picking up Dance of Thieves, because I did hear it was very romantasy-esque, but I guess there's a lot of politics in there. So I think I'm going to pick up A Fate Inked in Blood. This is my Book of the Month Club pick. This is actually one of the Book of the Month Club books for the month of March, where I also got a lot of add-ons. This is the actual one of the selections for the month of March. And so I am going to take this and get started on it. This one is not super long. Relatively, I think it's 413 pages, about 36 chapters, so not terribly long, but still a meaty book. So if I can get through both of these books, or at least one this weekend, that would be great, or at least close to, so I can report back on Monday. I would feel really good about that. So that is the update for Friday. I think this is a really good reading week. Happy to continue to find books that are exciting to me. Glad I finished some books this week. Looking forward to getting some more reading done today and this weekend. And yeah, that's everything. So if you haven't checked out my video for Thursday, make sure you go back and check that out. It was a book haul and a Barnes & Noble shop vlog sort of thing. And then this video obviously is out today, Sunday. But please like, comment, subscribe. If you are subscribed, I love to respond to comments. Give me some feedback. What are you reading? What did I read that sounds interesting? Anything you want to share, I'm here. I respond right away. And so I am excited to chat with you guys in the comments. So we will see you in the next video. Bye, guys.